Hello. This is the 9th lesson in the 7th Fetter, and we're going to talk more about the something out of nothing that is happening all the time. It's easy to talk about if you imagine Google Maps. So imagine that you are sitting on your computer and you look on Google Maps, and then you put down a pin. And when you zoom in to that pin and you get it into the street view, you can see in a 360 degree around you. So you're standing in the pin and you can look all the way down there, all the way to the horizon. You can turn that way and all the way there. In a 360 degree, you can see everything that is in the surrounding. And if you imagine that there's like no houses, no mountains, no trees, no forest, no anything, you could just see all the way to the horizon in 360 degree. That is how it is to be a human being. We tend to see everything self-referential. So I am here in the middle, in the center. And I can look that way and that way and that way and that way, which means that there's a center right here. And everything that I can see, that is reality. So in the lessons up until now, we talked about that delusion that we have, where we have an I in the center. We talked about in the 6th Fetter how you can dissolve that subject-object delusion that we have, that I am here and there's something out there. But still there's this little lingering identification when we pin ourselves in our lives and make everything self-referential. And we do it because it's part of our survival. It's part of the way that we exist and function in life. But we need to hold it very, very lightly. We need to really be aware that whatever we see, hear, smell, taste, and touch with our senses, that is from that pinned view of an I in the middle. And whatever you believe is reality, it is only as far as you can see. It is only as far as you can experience. Which means that you still have yourself pinned in the middle. And from that pinning with the self-referential, where we have pinned the I in the middle, is also where we start to defend ourselves. What we talked about in the 4th and the 5th Fetter, where if somebody's attacking you verbally, if somebody's doing things that you don't want them to do, or you want things to be different than the way that they are, it's still self-referential. It's still with a very pinned I in the middle. And I know this is right. I know they are wrong. That is putting you in a position where you blame and shame and complain about what is going on out there, instead of noticing that, hang on, I just pinned the I in the middle. Me perceiving other people as doing something wrong. Me complaining about the trains being delayed, or the traffic, or the roads not being done proper, or the taxes, or the politicians, or me complaining about anything is with a self-referential I pinned in the middle, where I feel something that is uncomfortable. I don't want to feel this. So they need to stop being like they are. Janice needs to speak differently to me. She needs to treat other people nicely. The MAGA people shouldn't be like they are. The left wing shouldn't be like they are. All of that is projecting out to the others that they need to change so I feel better. Or they need to change because I'm right. And that persistent self-referential I that keeps telling you that you are in the right and they are in the wrong, that is because there's an underlying current in you full of fear, anger, guilt, and shame that you do not want to feel. That's the second fetter. So what we would like for you to do, and that is why we created the curriculum to begin with, is really start this unraveling process where you notice that you are pinning yourself in the middle. You look at the world as if you are the center of the world. And reality is as far as you can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. That's reality. That is a delusion. What we would like for you to do is imagine Google Maps again, that you are pinning yourself and you have you in the center, in the middle of everything, and everything you see and hear and smell and taste and touch is around you. That is the bubble of reality that we talk about, both in the fifth fetter and in the second fetter. We would like for you to unpin. So imagine Google Maps. You're pinning. It is as far as you can see. Now unpin. There's no longer any center. There's no longer anything self-referential. There's no longer an opinion about anybody being right or wrong, because there's no center to have that opinion in. There's nothing to base that opinion on, because there's not a center anymore. The unpinning has happened, which means that Janice and the MAGAs and the leftists, they can be as they are. It's fine. There's no one that they can shoot arrows at, because the unpinning has happened. Which means that you are in the world and you experience the world with an open curiosity, knowing that there's nothing that is going that way and there's nothing that is going that way. It's just a pure being without the center. Now, obviously, you still need to move about in traffic and pay your taxes and be a good citizen and feed your children and take your dog for a walk. All that still needs to happen. And this is where a lot of bypassing can happen. What we would like for you to do is, with the unpinning, is where you're unpinning the identification. So there's no longer the I that anything is self-referential towards. There's no longer an opinion about anything. There's no longer a preference about anything. There is a pure aliveness in whatever happens. And like the example I've used before, that it doesn't matter if you're getting a root canal or you're lying in a hot tub and having a warm bath. It's the same. The experience is the same. There's a curiosity to the experience, to every unfolding that is happening. Because when you're no longer pinned, time is no longer relevant. The next video we're going to talk about time, but I just want to mention now that when you're in that unpinning state, there is just the pure openness. There's not an I in the center of anything, which means that there's no dimensions. There's not the horizontal, the vertical, and the depth. There's no time either. Time is the other dimension that is moving on either of those axes. But when there's no longer a center, there's no longer an axis, which means that there's no longer any time either. So there's just a pure experience of this moment, right now, and right now, and right now, without any self-referential reflection, without any self-referential preferences or opinions about anything. Whatever is unfolding is unfolding. And nothing has changed. It's always been like that. You were just delusional and thought that you had an importance in that unfolding. You didn't, because it was never there. It's an illusion. It's a trick of the brain that makes us think that we can predict things, that we can prefer things. If I take this road to my work, then I'm going to avoid traffic. It's a trick of the brain. And when you then get to work and you avoided traffic, you're going to go, see, I knew that. I knew that. And the next time you take the same road to traffic and you're late because of road work, you're going to be, that's strange. That road is never, I always get in time when I take that road to work. It's that self-referential, little delusional I that is sitting and playing a trick on you. Unpin. Unpin. Just be in that open spaciousness where anything that is unfolding, it is unfolding already. There's no one observing what is unfolding, because whatever your senses pick up and send a signal to the brain, whatever unfolded has already passed. Whatever you believe is reality is a delayed understanding of a perception, of a thought, of a reality. So there was an experience happening. But from when that experience happened, from that unfolding happening, there needed to be an experience. The senses picked up at something, the signals were sent to the brain, and then you in the frontal lobe go, oh, right. It's no longer there. It's no longer there. All of it is a trick of the mind. It's a cosmic joke. Because the unfolding is happening way before you understand that it happened. Even when you unpin. Even when you're just with that present awareness, and that with no I in the middle. There's not any awareness over the awareness of the aware of the awareness or any of that. Not even that. Because even that puts a pin in the middle. And when you put a pin in the middle, it becomes self-referential. And that is where beliefs are starting to happen. This is not something I want you to believe. This is not another concept, another hat I want you to put on. This is something I would like for you to see in your direct experience. That whatever you believe is happening out there can only happen out there if there's a center here. Unpin. And just be with that aliveness that is happening all the time. There's no one to experience it. There's no one to see it or tell a story about it. The only thing you can do is be with that unfolding, have the experience. And that, yes, can be psychedelic. It can be beautiful. It can be magnificent. It can be amazing. It can be all of that. But the moment you try to explain what it is, then you're taking it from the experience into an aboutism. And that is the mind that is trying to create a story. And you cannot create a story about that unfolding. Because any word you say is minimizing the experience. So you need to unpin. You need to be with that present awareness. And then you need to stop talking about it. Stop trying to explain what it is that is happening, because you can't. The moment you do, you're creating a story about an experience. And from then on, like I said, you're creating a post-it about an experience. And from then on, all we talk about is the post-it. And it's going to be a post-it on a post-it on a post-it on a post-it. You cannot talk about it. You cannot think about it. You cannot re-experience it. You cannot hold on to it. Partly because there's no I to holding on. You have unpinned. There's no I. There's no self-referential anything in anything. It's just unfolding. But if you're trying to, which is not possible, because then there would be a pinned I that is thinking and experiencing all of that. There would be an experiencer. What we're saying is there's not. There's not. So stay in that unfolding and just stay alive in any moment and every moment that is happening. See if you can notice whenever it feels like there's a pinning. And if you have that feeling of a pinning, in the first fetter we're working with that. If you have a feeling of this being too easy, this being delusional, because there is still pain experiencing, there is still pain, I still have my childhood and my experiences and my memories and all of that, then the next lesson is going to deal with that. But I just want to nudge you in the direction of the second fetter. Because if we have childhood trauma, if we have shadow work that needs to be done, we cannot unpin. That would be bypassing. We need to feel the pain. We need to allow what the body has experienced that is, sitting in every single muscle and tendon and ligament and fascia all over the body. You have those traumatic experiences and they need to be experienced and expressed. But that can be done without an I in the center. It is not about you experiencing and expressing anything. It is about allowing the experience and the express to be happening without an I taking, frontal lobe taking any credit of anything. It is still just an unfolding. So if you have issues that you need to work with, then go to the second fetter and keep having this in the back of your mind of the unpinning. Can you look at fear, anger, guilt, and shame with that unpinning, without a self-referential I in the middle? Can you be present with what is unfolding when you experience fear, anger, guilt, and shame? That was it. A very short exercise, a very, very short lesson, but immensely profound. I can recommend you to join our community. We have a Hive Mind community on Discord that I can recommend you to join. I can't link to it in the description below because the link is expiring all the time. So the best you can do is comment in the comment section below, and then I will send you a link. But then make sure that you join right away because the links expire. In the community on Discord, you can have all these conversations, all these experiences that you have where you struggle with the lessons. There is a huge community in there with people on the same path that are having the same experiences as you. So join Discord and find a community with people that are supporting you and where you are supporting others. For this week, I would like for you to notice that pin that you put in everything that is self-referential. See if you can unpin and just be with the vastness, with the unfolding, where there's no limit, not even the atmosphere around the earth or the universe. There's an unpinning of everything because there's no center to anything. It's just an unfolding. Thank you.